Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Beautiful people. Warriors of Light Summit. Here I am. Okay, I'm just going to pull this up on my phone so that I can um, access any comments or questions that might be asked of me. So it won't be a minute. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to. Okay. Let's mute that. Perfect. Okay. Welcome, everybody. I'm Stephanie Lavelle. I'm so excited to be here with you all today to talk all things feminine genius. Please let me know when you arrive. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Yeah, it's exciting to be here today. So I'm just going to get my things set up. Okay, let's go. We've got a big hour together. Yay! It's going to be magic. So there's a fair bit I want to speak into, but there'll be a lot of flow in this as well. So please, if throughout this conversation you've got any questions or any comments, please interact. Let me know in the feed. If you catch the replay, please hashtag replay and let me know that you're tuning in. So, to introduce me, I'm Stephanie Lavelle. I'm a genius activation and embodiment mentor. Now, what does that even mean, really? Because there's a lot of talk at the moment regarding genius out in the world, and everybody's got their take on it. So, to give you a bit of background for me, what I do is actually channel the genius of phenomenal women from around the world and then support you to activate the embodiment of that genius. Because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you can't actually embody it and implement it in your day-to-day life, then it becomes fairly redundant, right? So, for me right now, there's this real, and this feeds into why I became a part of the Warriors of Light project as well. For me, there's a real movement of women's remembrance at the moment in our world. And it's so inspiring. And a huge piece of that for me was remembering who I am and what I'm here to give the world and how I can be part of the evolution of humanity in a way that supports and is of service, because that's my calling, is to really be of service. And so I have had these phenomenal gifts my whole life, and I'm sure, like so many of us that are quite intuitive, quite emotional, quite in tune, we can get told that we're too much or to get back in our box, dim down a little. And yeah, I decided to stop doing that. And when I decided to stop doing that, my gifts absolutely took off and really opened up to me. And that was, a really beautiful process of unraveling a lot of conditioning that I'd had and going in and I really am, a big piece for me to be in integrity is to practice what I preach. So the support that I offer women is obviously then either the support that I invest in myself or they're the inquiries that I'm doing with myself, okay, to evolve and continuously be in alignment with my highest purpose. So When I say I channel your genius, again, what does that mean? Because for me, someone's genius, that for me translates to the soul, the mission your soul has been given in this lifetime. So, what I do is each month I channel 5 geniuses for 5 phenomenal women, and they're always phenomenal women, let me tell you. Some of the geniuses, absolutely, predominantly, they blow my mind. And so I tune in and I channel people's soul mission that you've been given in this lifetime. What were you incarnated for in this lifetime? How does that want to come through? How does it translate into a business? Because I also believe, and this is part of me being a warrior of light and supporting this remembrance of women worldwide right now, is that my belief is that we are incarnated and spirit wants us to be in a world where it is our divine right to monetize our genius, to live in total alignment with the purpose that we were incarnated for, and to be able to survive from that. It just so happens that in this day and age, we transact in money. A few centuries back, we may have been paid in something different, right? So, big piece of what I do is download the genius, deliver that, and then support women to embody that and to monetize that. So whether it's birthing a business, if it's brand new, or pivoting their business, sometimes it's just a really powerful pivot that needs to take place for them to feel really aligned. So a lot of women come to me, they're already soulful female entrepreneurs. They feel like they're, having this amazing impact in the world, that they're in alignment, they're feeling passionate about what they're doing, but they just have this sense that there's one little piece missing. There's just that one little piece missing. And that's what the genius gives, is that total clarity, that final little piece. And then it clicks into place and you go, oh, okay, that's it. That's where I want to go. I get this now. And then it's about birthing that into reality. What's that going to look like as, an offering of some description to the world? Sometimes that's a paid offering. Sometimes it doesn't need to be a paid offering, right? So every person I work with is different. There's no cookie cutter approach to this. I channel, when I channel and when I tune in to channel, I say something very similar at the beginning of every opening to channel to receive. But beyond that, I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know how it's going to go. Every session's different. So, just as for me, there's been no cookie cutter approach to my life. Let me tell you, that's the same for every client I have. So every client I have has, different aspects to their business, different aspects to their life that they need support with. And so it's all tailored to exactly what you need. So that is, my genius and how I'm supporting this evolution of the world right now, because I do believe in humanity and I do have a lot of hope and a lot of faith in us in birthing this new earth. And, for me, that looks like every woman and man. I work with men as well, but predominantly it's soulful females that are drawn to me, soul-led female entrepreneurs that are drawn to work with me. But every man and woman to be in alignment with their genius, to be living from that real space of clarity and fulfillment. So that is, for me, my passion. That's what drives me, in being who I am and being the voice that I am and offering the support that I offer the world. That's the main drive, is that I believe in a world where we all get to live from that space of feeling totally fulfilled. And that's a big piece of what the genius offers. So speaking into, activating and why it's important to even know your genius. Why is this even important, right? What is it even, what's the benefit? And for me, the benefit really lies in the clarity that you receive leads to the structure that you need. The structure supports you to be in flow, right? Which is probably a word you've heard a lot of in relation to the feminine. And this in part, these three pieces in part, cultivate the legacy that we're here to leave this world. Now that impact, that legacy that we're here to leave this world is so personal. It's so personal, and it does come through in people's genius sessions. It is part of, what is, it's innately linked to your genius, is the impact that is possible for you. So a lot of my clients, they're like, oh my goodness, they're blown away because they're opened up, and they say, opening up to the possibilities. And it's huge, when you tap into this, it is mind blowing. But once we've got that clarity, then we need to cultivate the structure needed to support us to actually sink in and deepen into our feminine embodiment of this genius. So today, I'm speaking about the feminine genius, okay? And that one key that is quite possibly overlooked, that is a huge piece of the truth of the channel. Well, I believe it actually is, really the necessary ingredient for the activation and embodiment of your genius. And it comes with this structure piece. So, and that is, for a woman, a soulful, feminine woman, to fully embody our feminine and to lead our business from this space of heart-led, soul-centered, feminine flow, we must surrender to the leadership of the masculine. This is the key to receiving the structure that you need. As I said, there's no cookie cutter approach, right? The approach that you need for your business comes when we tap into the masculine. Now, what does that mean? Because I actually don't work with any men in my business. I don't have any men employed. I don't have a man as a CEO, right? So there is a huge difference between the masculine and a man. So something I'm just going to actually preface now, before I move any further through this, is when I speak about feminine and masculine, they are divine energies. I will never use the words toxic masculinity, toxic feminine, wounded masculine. For me, I don't believe that they are any such thing. They never can be. They are a divine energy. So therefore, they are pure. They are purely masculine and feminine energies of divine frequency. They are never distorted. It's our human self that can get distorted, okay? So there is a huge difference between masculine energy and male energy, or a man. There's a huge difference between feminine energy and a woman. So you can be a woman and not be feminine at all, not be embodied in your feminine essence at all. And the same goes for a man. So when I'm speaking about masculine energy, for me, the way that comes through and is lived through my life is through my intuition. Now, as a soul-led feminine entrepreneur, I'm going to assume that for most of us, we're very much guided by our intuition. So with that, if you start to wrap your head around a few layers here, Our intuition comes from, I believe, Christ consciousness, the universe, God. There's many names, right? We can call it whatever we want to call it. Now, that energy is a masculine energy. So the masculine energy in itself is an energy of provision, okay? It's an energy of safety and structure. The feminine essence is an energy of receivership and nourishment. So, and creativity, big piece. So when we receive our downloads, when we tap into our intuition, we are tapping in to receive from the masculine. Now, if we don't trust the masculine, if we've got a link in our beliefs that says masculine equates man, and I don't trust men. I've had, shitty relationships. I've had poor experiences with men in my world, whatever it might be. I witnessed my mum have, crap relationships or crap interactions or be degraded, whatever it might be that has impacted your beliefs regarding men. And if you're equating men to masculine, then you're closing off your ability to connect to your intuition and your ability to then transition into the flow that we all desire as women, because that's our innate state of being, right? As a woman, our innate state is to be in the flow and to be creative and to be open to receive, whatever inspiration hits and just flow with that and be creative over here. And then, I want to go over here now, so I'm going to go in this direction and go there today and flow, right? Have the freedom to just move from wherever we feel called, wherever we're inspired to be. That's our innate place and desire as a feminine when we've deepened into our feminine, okay, and really living from that space. But without this structural support of the masculine, we're not able to just flow and stay in alignment. When we flow, it can become chaotic and it becomes overwhelming, and it becomes, our emotions might get way out of hand, right? So whether you are, and I'd love to know how this is landing for everybody in the comments. Jules is like, yes. Hello, Kathy. Hello, all of you beautiful people that have said hello. So, we've got to be mindful. Well, we don't have to be anything. You can do whatever you want. But if you choose to be mindful as a female, feminine entrepreneur in this world who wants to have a legacy and wants to impact the world in a way that's powerful and creates the change that we desire and births this new earth of, a higher frequency, higher consciousness, and, is really role modeling for this next generation. Oh my God, the limitless possibilities and the depth of love and connection needed, right, in our world for it to flourish, for us to all find our genius, tap into it, live from that space and feel fulfilled. Then a huge piece as a woman in business is to know the importance of connecting to masculine energy, essence, and trusting in the masculine. If you're incapable of allowing the masculine to lead, and I know that this is a really big piece for so many women today. I know it because I've worked through it myself, and it is a big piece for every woman I work with, regardless of how feminine she thinks she already is. It's a big piece, right? If you're not comfortable with allowing masculine energy to lead, then you're closing off the abundance of opportunity for you to receive. I'm just going to have a sip of my tea. So, Kirsty says, I love this, Steph. You're welcome, my darling. So, and I speak about this in my chapter in Warriors of Light, as a soulful, intuitive woman, if you're in business and leading others, right? So there's a lot of women speaking about, feminine embodiment or, feminine mentorship and bringing women back to their feminine. Well, yes, that may be what you do. It's so powerful and hugely transformative for you on a personal level and in your enterprise to recognize that you are a conduit of masculine provision whenever we are operating from our intuition. And how beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? And how healing is that? And again, I speak about this from personal experience. If you're capable of looking at your life and going, you know what? Men in my life have maybe absolutely fucking sucked, or there's been a lot of challenge there. It's not been easy with men. But then you start to cultivate this connection to your own intuition and your own connection to source. And you start to recognize that that's a masculine energy. It's fully supporting me. Intuition innately, what is its purpose? It's to guide you. It provides guidance either for your safety or for your success. So it's either that little niggle that says you're not safe, something needs to change, or fuck yeah, keep going. This is the path, right? So how beautiful is that to think, regardless of the relationship with men in the physical form, as a woman, we get to open up to fully trust and honor and love the masculine energy for its purity and truly recognize the power of that. Truly recognize that. Okay, I just need you all to just take a breath and close down your eyes. This wasn't planned, so just go with this. Go with me. So I just want you to, as a woman, or even as a man, they're saying right now, my guides are saying, place your hand on your heart. And just take a deep breath. And just think back over your life. And just tune into the caliber of relationship that you've had with men in your physical realm. Maybe your dad, maybe friends' dads, partners, fathers of your children, maybe friends, colleagues, all the men that have entered your world, and how those interactions felt. And maybe you start to become aware of some stories, some beliefs that have played out over the years about you and your connection to men. And I just want you to be tuning into this with pure curiosity, not labeling anything, not going deep into the stories, just acknowledging and moving through with curiosity anything that comes into your mind. And now I just want you to send all of those experiences that you've thought of, all of those men that have popped into your mind, some appreciation. They've given you something of value throughout your life. They've either given you provision of the highest caliber, kept you safe, provided for you, loved you, or they've given you a lesson, an awareness, and quite possibly they've given you both. And now I want you to tune in to the awareness of a higher power, the universe, God, Christ consciousness, the divine, your highest self, whatever you choose to call that. And I want you to take a deep breath as you allow your crown chakra to open, and you allow a channel, a portal of connection between your crown and that energy of the purest, highest frequency of masculine energy. And I just want you to feel into the safety of that space. I want you to feel into the integrity of that space. And I just want you to notice if there's a difference between your connection with masculine essence, divinity, and the energy you felt towards men. And just notice the gap there. Now I want you to feel the reverence that you can have for the masculine energy that comes when you're connected to Source. And if you desire to, I want you to gift that to the men that have been present in your world. Reverence for what they did provide for you. Even if they weren't connected to their divine energy, they weren't embodied as a masculine man, they innately provided something because it's at the core of who they are, whether they're connected to it on a divine level or not. So if you desire to, you can now just send that reverence to any man that you would like to gift that to on a soul level, your soul to their soul, for being part of your evolution. Now I want you to tune into your own energy and just feel what shifts for you when you connect to energy on this level with this awareness. How does it feel to let go of all the stories, all of the distortions, and just be present with the divine and in complete acceptance of exactly what is? This is the power of truly honoring the masculine and allowing it to lead. When you're ready, just take a deep breath in. And I invite you to come back to the screen. So I'd love for you to share, if you feel called to, in the comments, what you became aware of through that little process. It wasn't planned, so I may need to cut out some of what I wanted to share, but that's okay. Trusting my guidance, allowing divine masculine to guide in that moment for us all to receive. So when we are mindful of our connections that we've had with men and how we're still connecting with men in the physical realm, and how that may be distorting our connection to masculine, to the masculine energy, we become far more capable of trusting in the masculine that is continuously and abundantly wanting to provide for us. We allow our channel to open to receive fully, which means that we then can trust in our guidance. We can receive clarity as we desire, right? In any given moment. And by honoring that masculine guidance in our life, we really allow ourselves to truly honor ourselves and honor our own gifts, to honor our own essence. Because once, as I said earlier, once we've got that structure and we trust in that structure and we trust that we're safe, that we are held in this beautiful structure that is flowing through our life and leading the way for us, we then get to just surrender into our feminine essence and be in the flow that we so greatly desire. And that in turn leads to us being able to fulfill our legacy, to fulfill our genius, to impart the impact that we truly deeply desire and that we innately know is possible. That little niggle, whenever you've had that little niggle, I know I'm here for more, or, you know, there's something missing that I'm not getting just yet. That little niggle, like I know I'm capable of something so much greater than what I'm doing right now. And that doesn't mean it has to be a, you know, multi 7-figure business. It's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is you feeling completely and utterly fulfilled and content in your life at any given moment. If you can ask the question, am I happy with what I have right now? And the answer is yes. That's where you want to be. If you're continuously desiring more and you feel like there's a piece missing, then that's that clarity piece, and that's that connection to masculine that as a woman we quite possibly really need to consider and really have a look at, okay? And always with curiosity, always with curiosity. I'm just going to check some comments. Lucy, love that. Powerful, trusting, yes. Donna says, do you mean our own masculine energy to lead or a man's? I hope I have answered that. On that point though, I want to say I don't believe as a feminine being that we have, that we are divinely masculine, right? We have a connection to masculine energy that supports us, but our essence is feminine. That's our essence. Same as for a man. So we can learn masculine behaviors. We can learn male behaviors and show up in that way. Just as we can have, you know, wounded female behaviors, right? Depending on what our conditioning is and what our, you know, all of the things that contribute to that. But I believe that innately, if you are a woman, then you're innately feminine, and we're connected to the masculine, which we need to trust in and allow to provide the guidance for our provision to our goals, right? Because that's the masculine focus is about the goal, getting to the goal. The feminine focus is like the collective, like being here and just enjoying the moment and being creative in what is and wanting to connect with everyone. Whereas a male is like, that's my purpose, that's where I've got to go, that's it, I'm doing that. So our masculine connection to source, that's that connection to masculine energy provides that container, that structure that we need to then be in our feminine. So it's allowing that masculine to lead. So I'd love to know, Donna, if that feels clearer for you, babe. I found partner dancing such a great way to get into the feminine flow and let the masculine lead. Yes. Helps that my husband is a professional. Oh my God, what a gift. Yes. And you know, the beauty of that, Kirsty, is that, you know, you're engaging in his world and that allows him to feel purposeful. Masculine energy has to feel like it's got a purpose, right? It's got to feel needed to continue to want to show up. And this is the other point I wanted to make. As a intuitive female in the world, whether you're in business or not, if you are allowing your intuitive hits to flow and you're actually taking aligned action on them, right? So whether that's a message that says you're not safe here, you need to leave, and you follow that message, or this is perfect, go down this direction, this is it. If you continue to tap into that intuition and trust it, the more you trust it and the more you take aligned action in accordance to it, the more it will flow. Because masculine energy has to feel purposeful. So if we're cutting it off, going, nah, then it's going to be like, well, why the fuck am I showing up for you? Right? So then it'll continue to show up, but maybe only when you truly ask. Okay, because you're going to miss all the hits. You're going to miss all the other hits. But when we continue to cultivate that connection with our intuition, which comes from masculine provision, then it will just flow, because then it's this masculine energy is going, oh, you like that? Okay, I'll give you more. And it just will keep giving, right? So as a woman, if you are open to receive, which is our innate way, the more open we are to receive from the world around us and all the experiences that we're having, all the people that come into our world, etc., etc. If we're open to receive and open to receive from our intuition, from our guides, higher self, whatever you want to call, then that's when we will continue to manifest. We will quantum leap. Things you'll like life, you'll be in a slipstream, right? That's where that leads to, because you are allowing yourself to be embodied in the feminine essence and allowing the trusting in that masculine provision. And it's the trusting in that masculine provision that says to the masculine, it's needed. So it will keep showing up for you. I love that. I love that. I've got the vision of you and your husband dancing around the kitchen and I just love it. Yes, answered. Perfect. Thanks, Donna. Yes, Kristen. Beautiful. Keep trusting that that intuition. Yes, masculine energy needs to feel purposefulness. I love it. So, yeah, I think I would love to know if anyone else has any other questions or if there's any other aha moments that you've had so far today. And yeah, I just want to come back to the fact that, you know, as a feminine soul-led woman in business, tapping in and uncovering your genius brings, you know, this opportunity for you to really receive the clarity and open you up to the abundance of possibilities available for you and humanity. Because when we step into that space, we're really becoming we're becoming this powerful, words escape me right now, but we become really harmonious in the world, and we step into our individual unique blueprint, whatever you want to call it, to be able to impart on humanity our gifts and be of greater service to really support humanity to thrive, you know. And so for me, that is a huge piece of why I do this work, because watching women thrive and watching women really open up, and quite often the first element of that is fear and terror, because it can be big, and it often involves change. And so it can be frightening. So that's why with my Genius Activation Blueprint offer, there is 2 weeks of support post that for everybody that has their genius delivered to them. Because I want women to walk away being able to feel like they've got a really deep understanding of their genius, and then how to take aligned action to birth that into existence, right? And that doesn't happen from just one 60-minute session. There's stuff that's going to come up post the session. It becomes it's really beautiful process to witness, and to allow women that space to be supported so that they can fully receive and then birth. Oh, man, I love that. And one thing that I say often, that I'll never tire of saying, is that it will never ceases to amaze me, the caliber of woman that's hiding in plain sight. And the thing with delivering women's genius to them, anyone's genius, is that all of a sudden you become aware of the caliber of who you are hiding in plain sight. You've just been going about your life, quite possibly being remarkable, not even knowing it, And I'm connected to some really phenomenal women, multiple of them in this book. And to think that we're all in this little collective, right? We're actually in a pretty small radius, quite a lot of us that are even in this book. But then to worldwide have the capacity that we've got in this book to open up the conversation of what it looks like for people to be embodied in their genius, and to be open to exploring the capacity of who they truly are, is so inspiring for me. So this is the beauty of this work, and this is why I love so much what I do. Like, if you follow me on social media already, you will hear me say often how much I fucking love my life. And this is a big piece of it, because I'm witnessing women become aware of the blocks that they're carrying that are diminishing their capacity to show up authentically. And then they're finding the courage to let go of some of the biggest blocks possible. And usually they're around masculine and money, and then worth. So this is why I love what I do, because supporting women to birth into existence the creations as to why they were here, how they can support humanity to thrive and evolve, is absolutely phenomenal. And some of the projects that are birthed, some of the all of the geniuses that I've delivered are absolutely mind-blowing. And the work that then leads into for my clients is galactic. Like, a lot of them, are galactically connected. So, really honoring this, the woman that's hiding in plain sight, but courageous enough to start to explore who the fuck she really truly is, and unapologetically show up as that in full trust of the masculine. And then what that in turn leads to. I had a woman have a week and a half ago, have a huge breakthrough in just her 2 weeks of support post her genius. And, at the start of that container, it's like, I've got this happening with my partner. I'm blocked here. I can't be bothered with this, and my money's not flowing. But I love my work and I love this. I love it. But all of the things that she was blocked with were all to do with masculine provision. We work on that. 2 weeks later, she's got one client that signed on again for another container. A new client lands, and her man literally showed up and said, "You just want me to cuddle you and stroke your hair while you fall asleep and I read you a book, don't you?" She's like, "Yeah." And what did he do? He stroked her hair while she fell asleep that night, like reading her a book. Like, this is the power of the transformation that can occur for us as women when we start to trust in the provision of this divine essence of masculine energy and really look at where we've been cutting ourselves off, really cutting ourselves off and limiting that from our life. The impact of that is huge. So by honoring the masculine, we really delve into actually truly honoring ourselves as a feminine being, because to truly honor the masculine, it needs to prove that we can trust it. So when you're thinking about relationships with men, if you haven't felt like you can trust them, that's why they didn't work, right? Or it's why they're not working. If there's a lack of trust, if there's a lack of congruency between their actions and their words, this all diminishes the trust. This all means that we feel like we've got to take the lead. We've got to do all these things that women, in essence, don't desire to do. But when we truly honor that, when we honor and start to trust in the masculine in terms of our connection, and then show up from that space, you start to magnetize a whole different level of experience in life. You magnetize a new level of clients to your business, new level of friendships that are totally seated in trust and and integrity, and new level of connection within partnerships and your sacred union. It becomes a sacred union. So it's huge. This work is huge. What does that then in turn do for your life? Well, it brings about the harmony that you truly, truly desire within your life, the balance that we speak of so often. We're all aiming for this balance. Well, it starts from within us, right? We've been told this, but have we really been told what it looks like, what it sounds like, how to achieve it? Here you go. It means that we're connected to the abundance of wealth that's possible for us, right? When we're allowing this balance to flow, then we're totally opening our channels. We're totally opening to receive as well as trust. So wealth flows, and wealth is not just about finances. Wealth is about far more than that, and I'm sure most of the women in this space would be aware of this. So this is what flows. No longer, living week to week. That's totally out the window, but also not living from one good experience waiting for the ball to drop, right, to the next low experience to go to the next good experience. There's this, when I speak about fucking loving my life, it's because across the board I look at it and I'm wealthy in all areas. I'm so wealthy. I've got such beautiful and deep connections to people that I truly honor and really value. I see the value in what they're gifting humanity and who they be in this world. I have such respect for them. So whether that's my children, my partners in the past, even the ones I'm not with, I can still see the value of them, right? My friends, my clients, my God. So we open ourselves up to really embrace and receive wealth, clarity, harmony. This all becomes non-negotiable in our life, and then we feel utterly fulfilled. We are continuing to evolve because, as I said, when you tap into this, you're in the slipstream, baby, and then it's all about quantum leaping and, it's so funny. A girlfriend and I, Jules, who commented earlier, we were talking earlier today, and she said something about, buying something new, and I was like, she was saying, need to replace whatever because I've had it for 10 years. And I was like, man, you know, you're not the same person, babe. And we had a laugh. I was like, you may not be the same person tomorrow. You might need to take that back for a refund. So, it's like you're evolving at a rapid rate is what I'm saying. You're in touch with yourself continuously, but you're not attached. You're in touch, but not attached, not latching on, right? There's this acceptance and flow of your own evolution and the evolution of those around you as well. How beautiful. What an honoring of those relationships that you've got when you allow that to occur without the attachment. So this curiosity piece. And in turn, you get to live in the legacy that you truly, truly know is possible for you and that you desire to gift the world. So I'd love to hear if anybody has any other questions. I'll just double check any of the comments. Kathy, finding this all a bit overwhelming. Totally understandable, Kathy. Totally understandable. And it definitely can be. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to connect with you in my inbox if you desire that. More than happy to connect with you further. And yeah, just hear about that. Just hear what's happening for you because it is really a big conversation. Okay? It is a big conversation. And that's why I said, with the Genius Activation Blueprint offer, which is, where I channel your genius and then deliver that to you via an hour Zoom session, there's then 2 weeks support post that because it does invoke huge conversations when you start to tap into your genius. So more than happy to talk to you further. And Catherine's here. Hello, Catherine and Melinda. Okay. So, yeah, if this is feeling big for anybody, please allow yourself the grace to really feel that. A big piece of what I work on with women is the notion of equal parts grace and ruthlessness. So what does that mean? As a feminine being, it's not about what we look like, what we sound like. It's about our presence, right? So it's about when you walk into a room and a woman's just got that energy, right? You know it. We all know it. We've all seen it. And if we're not already in it, we've probably aspired to have it. So that comes from equal parts grace and ruthlessness. It's about knowing who you are, knowing exactly who you are, being so in touch with yourself that you ruthlessly uphold your soul values. So you're in integrity with yourself at all times. You're able to have conversations that are difficult, but uphold your values. And you do that from a place of grace. So for me, I used to do that by screaming and getting over the top and all emotional, and it was insane. Now, you're capable of doing that from a place of grace. You're capable of feeling the big emotions and having to have big conversations and still being able to find the grace to come to that interaction. And knowing that there might be all manner of outcome, but you're able to stay in your grace and in your ruthlessness. So it is a big conversation, and I allow you to really tune in, or I'd really, if it's feeling big for you, then I definitely would invite you to really allow yourself to sit with why is it so big? What guidance do you need to open up to right now? So you can just ask the question, what do I need to know right now? So just take a moment. You might be best for you to do this laying on grass or sitting in the sun, or in water. Oftentimes I do this in the shower. What do I need to know right now? Really powerful question to just ask, to allow your nervous system to start to receive some support. And then there's all manner of angles you could go from there. So if this has invoked anything big for people and you do need support, more than happy for you to drop into my inbox and share just a little about, what's come up for you. More than happy to support you through that. And if anyone wants to know more about my work, by all means, please reach out. So as I've mentioned a couple of times, my Genius Activation Blueprint offer, which that container, as I said, I only deliver 5 geniuses a month. So I am delivering geniuses this Thursday. There is one session still available if anyone is interested and would like to inquire about that. Please let me know. So the way that works is I channel the genius. We have a Zoom hour together where I deliver your genius and then deliver all of the feelings and visuals received. So when I channel your genius, I only type out the words that were received, but with those words, I'll also get visuals and feelings about things. So that hour allows me the space to expand on all of the pieces, because sometimes it's the feeling or the visual that actually gives you more clarity around than simply what that one statement might mean. And then from there, you receive your genius and the recording of that session for you to be able to go back to. And then we've got 2 weeks in Voxer. So I don't know if everybody knows Voxer. Voxer's a really powerful space, like a walkie-talkie app. Absolutely love Voxer. It's so powerful for massive instant transformations. It's huge. So we have 2 weeks in Voxer together, where you receive support Monday to Friday to go deeper, right? And to work on the activation of this genius, but also the embodiment. Because I'm a big believer that you can study all the things that you like, you can gain all the wisdom, all the knowledge that you like, but it's useless unless you're able to actually embody it in real time, right? Unless it actually helps you to shift your beliefs, your behaviors, etc. So the next date for geniuses, I believe, is the 13th of October, and November's already half full. So if anybody is wanting to get in before the end of the year, please reach out. Let's have a chat. And if you want to know anything beyond that, there's another couple of containers that I do hold for people, one 3-month long and one 6-month container. So if you're wanting any more information about how to work with me, please PM me, send me a friend request if you like. And you'll find me on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is Steph_Lavelle_, and Facebook, I'm here. You got me. So let's connect. And thank you to everybody that tuned in. Just double check before I leave that there's just Kathy. Perfect. Look forward to hearing from you, Kathy. Hi, Trina. So definitely get in touch. Anybody, if you've got any more questions, or if you'd like to have a conversation about working with me further, I would love that. And I'd also love to hear feedback on the book, whether it's my chapter or any other chapter. If anyone wants to share what they loved and enjoyed about Warriors of Light and these conversations, that would be amazing too. But enjoy the rest of this week. I know Annabelle's coming in tonight with some powerful, powerful stuff. So enjoy that convo, and you'll find me in here throughout this week, and I look forward to connecting with you all more if you truly desire that. Lots of love. Mwah. That's all from me.